So let's see if 10.2 is a little bit easier and less frustrating than the old 10.0. So if you're at home watching or you're in class, this is the time you want to follow along. So I'm going to switch over to Firefox. You should see the D2L Desire2Learn 10.2 features course. If you don't see it, you might have to change your role from super admin or student or leader to instructor. So if you click on the instructor role, the Desire2Learn 10.2 features should come up. And if you don't see that after clicking on those series of roles, you might have to send me an email. My email is nandre@mansfield.com. Sorry, nandre@mansfield.edu. And just simply ask you want to be enrolled into the Desire2Learn 10.2 features course. When you see that link, just click on it once. Give it a couple of seconds, and you should be greeted with a welcome letter to the 10.2 features. Does everybody see that? Good? Okay, great. So when Phil started his thing, the first place he went to was the content tool. We're still going to do that. So let's go up to the nav bar. That's this red bar up top. You should have a tool called content. Let's click on that once. Give it a second to load. And you're going to see right off the bat, when you go in the content tool, there are some differences. The key difference is this sidebar area. You should have a nav bar called Table of Contents. So do you have that in the sidebar? And in that Table of Content area, do you see where it says Add Module? If you click once in there, type in Learning Modules, and then hit Enter. This was no different than what Phil did when he went up to the Content and then clicked on the New button and choose Learning Module. But you notice this was a lot quicker and convenient. It was right in front of you, letting you know, hey, click here, give me a name, and if you hit enter, over here on the right side, what you're going to see in this content area is the name of that module you just created. Does it say Learning Modules? I'm going to make my screen just a little bit bigger to make it easier for people to see. Great. What if I want to give this learning module a description? One of the things you'll notice in 10.2, as you move your mouse around, it seems like your pointer turns to the international hand of clickable, the index pointing up, the thumb sticking out. That's letting you know that something can happen. So go ahead, click on Add Descriptions. And I'm going to keep it nice, short, and simple. You should have noticed your screen changed to the big, giant text box. And I'm just going to say, this module will contain our lessons for the course. Nice and simple, letting students know what the function of this module is. Now I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and I'm going to see an Update button. If all goes well, down the lower corner of my screen, the lower right corner, it's going to have a little tool pop up saying description saved successfully. Great. Let's come down here to that New button that Phil had. Before I actually play around with that New button, remember Phil created a child module, Lesson 1, that belongs to the learning modules. To do that, I need to come down to the bottom where it says Add Sub-Module. So let me click on there once. Notice your cursor changed to a clickable hand. So click there once, and we're going to call it Lesson space 01 space dash space creating activities. And all I'm going to do is hit enter. If I do this correctly, I will be, once again, getting a little feedback letting me know that the module is created successfully. But more importantly, in my content area, up top I see learning modules. That's the one I'm in. But down underneath it, I see Lesson 1 dash creating activities. So this is neat. However, this view can be a little confusing from time to time because I see I have two new buttons. I have two activity buttons. So if I was telling you, oh, just click on the New button, you're going to ask me, which new button are you talking about? That's where the table of contents come in. So back over on your left side, you see where it says Lesson 1 Creating Activities underneath, and it's slightly indented, letting you know that this Lesson 1 belongs to the parent called Learning Modules. If you simply click on Lesson 1 over here, over on the right in the content area, the title should have changed to Lesson 1 Creating Activities. If we come down here to this new button, the only new button now that you should see, and click on it once, we can simply click on New Checklist. So no longer is it a guessing game. Do I go to Communications? Do I go to Assessments? Do I go to Resources? It's simply go to the New button to create a new activity. So I'm going to click on New Checklist. And I'm going to give this a title. And I'm going to call this Lesson space 1 dash space Instructions. All right, now, if you're following along at home, remember we're sharing the same D2L site. So if you could do me a favor, after you do that, in parentheses, put your initials. This way we don't have overlapping lesson modulars. All right, just like before, Phil gave some instructions. So I'm going to click in the instruction box, and I'm going to type in step 1, hit enter, and then I'm going to type in step 2. And then I'm just going to go down here. Obviously, if you're doing this for your students, you're going to indicate to them what they should be doing to accomplish this lesson module. This is just an illustration of how 10.2 changed from 10.0. After I get done giving my steps 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and I'm going to click Publish. Do you notice the changes? It used to be Save and Close. The difference between publish and save as draft is the moment I hit publish, it's live for our students to see. If I don't want the students to see it, and I want to come back to it later, I would choose save as draft. So let me hit publish. And it should give you a preview of what that checklist looks like. One of the things I want to point to your attention is not only do we have a nav bar and a sidebar, but now we also have like a bread trail. And so between the nav bar and the title of your activity, there should be some blue links going across the middle. It starts with table of contents, learning modules, because that's what we created before, and lesson 1. If I want to go back to where I last left off at, I'm just going to click on lesson 1, creating activities. And what it's going to do is take me back to that learning module, that lesson. If I scroll down for a couple, you can see I have that activity, that checklist, lesson 1, instructions. The cool thing, in my opinion, is that the students don't have to click on it to see it. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, and Step 4 are already displayed for us. In 10.0, all they saw was the title, and they had to click on it to view it. So the big theme in 10.2 is convenience. It should be there, and you shouldn't have to go hunting for it. Hopefully, that allows our students to do more work without giving us any excuses. One could only wish. Okay, so Phil, what did you think? Convenient?
Oh, much more convenient.